Reynolds here. I want to talk about a few things that I got concerns with the Norfolk State football program. And I want to talk about, firstly, with the announcement of Michael Vick's staff at Norfolk State. Um, Recently it was announced that he added 8 people to his staff, and I'm going to go down the list. The first person is Terrence Garvin. He's going to be the defensive coordinator. Elton Brown, offensive line coach. J-Bo Smith, defensive back coach. Ezine Cross, defensive line coach. LaRoy Reynolds, linebackers coach. Daryl Bullock, assistant head coach. Steve Adams, a special teams coach and recruiting coordinator. And lastly, DeMarcus McMillan, director of football operations. Okay, so the first person we're going to go with is Terrence Garvin. He's a defensive coordinator. Says that he comes to Norfolk State from Florida Memorial, where he was the co-defensive coordinator. Uh, they forced the Sun Conference best 13 fumbles last season, ranked second in the league with 13 interceptions as well. He played in the NFL for 6 seasons. Okay, and the next coach after that, I want to talk about. Let's go with the defensive back coach, J-Bo Smith. It says that he worked alongside Gavin at Florida Memorial. He was also the co-defensive coordinator. He was defensive back coach and the special teams coordinator at one point. Mentored and developed Marcel Blocker, who received the 2024 Sun Conference Defensive Back of the Year award after recording 13 tackles, 3 interceptions, 6 pass breakups. Before FMU, he was defensive back coach and defensive game coordinator at Ave Maria University. And then I'm going to go back towards Elton Brown. Elton Brown is from Newport News. He played at Warwick Heritage in Hampton. Spent the last 7 years as the apprentice school offensive coordinator. They said it was a historic success. Where it was 37.8 points per game in 2022. And they won 9 games, only lost 1 that year. He was an All-American at University of Virginia, and he played for the Cardinals for some time, including a Super Bowl appearance against the Steelers. All right, so here's my concerns with this announcement. I am not sure about the staff because of the fact that what I'm looking at right here is let's start off with these 3 guys. These guys, basically, their experience is limited to NAIA. And I'm not taking anything away from their previous successes. Within that division of football, it sounds good, with a couple of records that they broke. My concern is, NAIA, Florida Memorial, and Apprentice. That's the lowest form of college football outside of intramurals football that you can go to. And again, to those guys, I mean no disrespect at all, but I'm just trying to put this in perspective here. Because there's 2 ways that this can go, and I'm going to contradict myself probably a few times because I'm unsure. I'm not saying that they won't have success or they're not capable. I'm just not sure. I don't know. I don't have the knowledge. I'm not qualified to make a judgment, but I am asking questions. So with these guys, they had success in NAIA. That's before you get to Division III. That's before you can get to Division II. And then that's before you can get to Division I. And even before Division I, Division One AA. So let's put that there. You know what I'm saying? Like, does that translate to success at the second highest level of college football? So you're basically going from Division 4 to Division 1 AA, and you're expected to be as successful as you were. I don't know how often it happens in college football where you skip 3-4 divisions of college football. That's unheard of, you know. But again, Alton Brown is from this area, so that gives an advantage, because he's known around here. That could help towards recruiting. Um, he had success, as an offensive coordinator. He's going to be the offensive line coach at Norfolk State, so we'll have to wait and see. But my concern, though, is, and I said this before with Michael Vick, I don't want a situation where you hiring your homeboys. Because not everybody is going to be qualified to do this. Now, with Alton Brown, we'll find out. I think he should be able to do a good job as an offensive line coach personally. But I have to be unbiased here and ask these questions as if I am not a fan of Norfolk State, as if I'm not a fan of some of these guys here. Terrence Garvin, he's the defensive coordinator. Now let's move down to, let me see. Let's go to Steve Adams. Steve Adams was mentioned earlier, and I'm going to bring it back to that point. Steve Adams was the only coach from the previous tenure from Dawson Zodom's staff that's a holdover. And he was the defensive coordinator, assistant head coach for the Spartans. They forced 21 turnovers in 2024, racking up 13 interceptions. And I don't know why they mentioned this, but sophomore linebacker A.J. Richardson was named to All-MEAC. That's all well and cool, but A.J. Richardson at North Carolina State, that's irrelevant. And my question is this. You got a guy in Steve Adams that's basically taking a demotion. How is that going to work out? Is there going to be any kind of attention from that? You know what I'm saying? Because that's not an easy thing to ask somebody to step down like that. Now, on the other hand, it could be a good thing because of the fact that it's Michael Vick. And, you're helping a future Hall of Famer. You're helping possibly getting something started that has never been done before in Norfolk State. So maybe it's a sacrifice for the betterment of the program. It could go either way. And we'll have to wait and see where that goes. But I just want everybody, just to pump the brakes and let's analyze and look at this, before we just, get too excited about it. Because it could go either, where it could get toxic because, again, the guy's taking emotion. Or it could go the other way around and, it could be something that could work well. It's going to be either or, in my opinion, on that. So we have to wait and see. Hopefully it works out and, everything will go according to plan. It's just that he was coaching at a D1 FCS 1AA level, and you're bringing a guy up to be the defensive coordinator. So, we'll see. It's just a little different. That's all I'm pointing out. Okay, let's see what's next. Okay, so we got another guy that came from Hampton University. His name is Daryl Bullock. He's the assistant head coach. And what they say is he came across the bay, of course, from Hampton. 2 years as the O-line coach of Hampton. Earned title as the run game coordinator, recruiting coordinator as well. Pirates average 195 yards per game on the ground last season, which was pretty awesome, ranking second in the CAA, which is a tough conference in FCS. He brings experience from multiple HBCUs, coaching previously in Hampton, North Carolina Central, and Morgan State. He also worked summer internships with the Cowboys, Browns, Dolphins, and Patriots. Okay, so I've heard that this guy's been around the HBCU circuit a little bit. He's well known and he's considered, to be respected. But, let's look back at what they have him as. They have him as assistant head coach. So it looks like he's going to be pretty much filling in the gaps where Michael Vick might lack in experience as a head coach. So, we'll wait and see how that's going to go. But that's an interesting fact right there. I'm honestly surprised that they didn't try to get Bobby Blizzard, which, he's had success. He's moved up from, I remember he was coaching at Belhaven. I think that's an NAIA school. And then he eventually went to the I think it was the UFL. No, I'm sorry, the XFL. I think it was, the XFL. He coached at the XFL, and then he went to Hampton. And, but there's a transition upon levels versus just strictly coming from an NAIA. But we'll see, though. We'll see. Next guy I want to talk about is LaRoy Reynolds. And I remember LaRoy Reynolds played at UVA, and he was a good linebacker. Let's see what they say about him. Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. He learned from respected figures in football, working with multiple NFL organizations. Bill Walsh, the diversity coaching fellowship, the Seahawks, Cowboys, providing special assistance to improve fundamental techniques on the defensive side of the ball. He also mentored student athletes at the IMG Academy through NFL and National Pathway Program. A standout linebacker, like I said, at UVA, played in the NFL for 9 years. All right, cool. He played at the NFL for 9 years. Cool. And he was involved as a mentor at the IMG Academy. And I think he's supposed to be the linebackers coach. My concern with this guy here is this. That's still technically not it's not a lot of experience, in my opinion, as a coach, on a staff at the collegiate level. He's coming from basically high school. And IMG, granted, is one of the premier teams in the country, and the thing with IMG, schools like that, is a question whether is it really the coaching, or is it because they got so much talent and why they had the success? I'm not sure about this particular hire. Just speaking, and I mean no disrespect to the guy, he could be an outstanding coach. I don't know. But just based off his background, I'm not completely sure because, again, he took part in a mentorship program. That's another issue that I have with the staff is, you got a couple of guys that took part in internship programs, which is cool and all, but it doesn't speak for the experience, at coaching, on the same level, what I'm saying, that they are at FCS. So, we'll see. Like I said, LaRoy Reynolds might actually be a great coach. I don't know. That remains to be seen. We have to see about that. Let's see. Okay, so Ezon Cross is the next one. He's leaned on distinguished playing career, mentoring athletes. Guys coaching started in North Atlanta High School. Yeah, this was the other guy I had questions about. Most recently founded True Edge Sports, youth organization dedicated to running comprehensive developmental football camps. A 3-year starter at Georgia Tech, played with the Bills, and garnered mentorship from all-pro defense. And that has nothing to do with anything. You're basically saying he's on the same field as Mario Williams, Marcel Darius, and Kyle Williams. That has nothing to do with anything. That's another thing I'm concerned about right here. His experience again with high school kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the director of football operations. What's his experience with college? You know what I'm saying? Like, and basically, no disrespect, this is like I just don't see it with this hire. I mean, and it may be, and let's be fair, I don't know enough about True Edge Sports. You know, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not. That doesn't really. That's the one I have a lot of questions about. You know, and it's interesting that Mike Vick had Deshaun Jackson as somebody else possibly going to be on his staff. You go from Deshaun Jackson to some of these guys. It's an interesting contrast. I will say that at the least. So it's an interesting collection of guys. You know, I'm just a little concerned because I'm expecting guys that have extensive college coaching experience at like the FBS level or the FCS level. A couple of guys do, but it's just that it's just a lot of questions, and it's a big risk. But it's not impossible. Anything is possible. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm just being all negative here. I'm just trying to be unbiased as possible. So we'll see. We'll see. So, and I got a couple of questions about. Recruiting. I saw that there was a guy from Alabama. He's quarterback, 3-star recruit, Mr. Alabama, but he been at 2 different schools and didn't get any playing time. There's lots of kids that have great stats in high school, but for whatever reason they don't get on the field, and I feel like that's a risk. And there's a guy that comes from Frostburg at defensive tackle with okay stats, but I guess that's where film study for somebody like me that wants to learn more about these guys, because again, I'm just speaking on an outside opinion at first glance. So these guys, and then they offered another kid, and I'm not gonna say what school he come from, but he plays at a school in Virginia for 4 years, and collectively he doesn't have 1,000 yards. And I'm not saying per year. I'm saying collectively. In 4 years at this particular school, he does not have 1,000 yards. And they offered him a scholarship. And in his last year, he got just over 200 yards receiving in an 11 to 12 game season. And I looked up his background, and his father played at Virginia Tech. And again, that's what I'm saying, like the homeboy stuff. I hope that this is not a thing where it gets out of hand, because maybe it's coincidence. I don't know. And then to be fair to the young man, it could be a situation, but the program that he's at, or that coach, who has a very good reputation, I don't know, man, because if you don't produce, in 4 years, it's really hard for me to understand why you offer a kid a scholarship. I could see walk on, but like a scholarship, I don't know. Maybe it could be a situation where he was misevaluated. That happens in some programs. I mean, we'll never know. I'm trying to be as optimistic as possible about that. But then, I'm looking at some of these other guys, and I don't see a lot of guys from the 7 cities. I'm wondering what's going on. Maybe they're still working on it, and there's more to come. I don't know. But another thing with Norfolk State, I feel like they should be doing, like right now, is I noticed that Mike Vick guy, he's using his social media to cover stuff that he got with Fox, and also stuff with like Norfolk State that comes out. But I feel like they need to also put some things on that Norfolk State football social media on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that. YouTube. We need to know what's going on behind the scenes as well. It doesn't have to be anything major, but just do some like little highlights of kids working out, maybe doing a 60-second, Q&A with some guys. Because you want to build up a story, with these guys, with the fans, so there's more connectivity. When you're invested into these players, you're more than likely to buy merchandise. You're more than likely to show up to the game and show support. You got to have a connection with people. And I feel like Deshaun Jackson, he's doing an outstanding job at Delaware State at getting the word out. The recruits that he's bringing in, these guys are, it's noted that these guys are ballers. It's less of a question because even those guys are not guaranteed to ball out. I don't care if they 5-star, 4-star, or whatever. I'm just saying, like, it's more of a buzz. His enthusiasm is out the roof, and I just feel like it's just not enough buzz going on in Norfolk State right now where it should be. I see greatness for the program. And being on the Breakfast Club, going to Pac-Man Jones show, he's going on a press run. Like, what's Vick doing? You know what I'm saying? And again, I don't mean no disrespect, Coach Vick, but and I understand you got obligations to Fox, on the weekends, but at the same time, bro, like, what about the season tickets? You know what I'm saying? When the merchandise is gonna come out for the summer jerseys? I just feel like it should be more involvement in the promotion of the football team. And I go back to that press conference. I really feel like that press conference wasn't in the best presentation. And, how you do one thing is how you do everything else. I'm still learning that in my life. So, I really do, though, I want to end this on a positive note. I really feel like, this has the potential of something powerful, of something big, and something that Spartans can all be proud of. And I really feel that, just within time, hopefully we can see some progress. And I say everything that I say again with respect, and to the coaching staff. I'm not dissing y'all personally. I just want to present these questions because I feel like anything that you involved in, you should always ask questions. Or anything that you support. You shouldn't just dive into it because a lot of times people, they just click likes just to like something because it sounds good. But I really want to see, like the good, the bad, the ugly, and then make my own analysis of that. So I'm asking these questions again, as if I'm not a Norfolk State fan, as if I'm not a Virginia native, as somebody that's just, want to be objective as possible so we can really analyze what's going on. This has been my time. I'm Hampton, Vegas. Y'all be easy.